coughing episode. It's part of his health issues. Hey, buddy, you okay? Go lay down. Go lay down, Bubba. I love you. Daddy's up here smoking though right now too. I don't want that to bother you. Granny, go lay down, Bubba. Go lay down. You're a good boy. Anyways, we know that the Morpheverse has a bod immediately telling people I'm live. So guess what? I'm live, guys. I'm going under. Oh, poor guy. I'm sorry, buddy. Wait, I thought that I was invited on this show.
Thinking about just we don't got very much longer left, guys. We don't got very much longer left. Hi CYN, or hi CYN, hi James. Yes, Elvis says if that's how he fights, he might want to say, "Oh Lord, guys, what are we doing with this? What are we doing right here, guys? What are we doing? This is a tragedy. OMG! I just listened to the diss track. Wow, yeah." Really bad, guys. He doesn't stand any rel in next to Ryan Upchurch. Plain and simple. And he knows that, guys. Jim got a lot of love in the chat. Anyways, Dumb Genius is going to let Iceman run him on YouTube. I haven't seen that. Are they added on YouTube? Is that what they're doing? Anyways, the other dumber. Yes, guys. What is up, Squarework Media? What is up, Squarework Media? How are you? How are you, Squarework? Yes. Just like, what did he say? What is up, Miz? What is up? Square Freckles, showing love to Square. Anyways, just went live and clicked to see what y'all are doing over here. It's definitely interesting over here, Square. You know how I roll. We know how we roll, Square. You know how we roll. Anyways, guys, yes. So I'm not sure yet, but we may have Square on the channel tomorrow, guys, for a little bit of questionings and stuff like that, like a questioning type panel and stuff like that. So yeah, we may. Anyways, that's in the back of my head, guys. I'm not sure yet. I want to do some more thinking about it. I want to follow through with what I think's right to bring you guys. So, but we may have him on the channel. That's in the back of my head, guys. I'm not sure yet. I want to do some more thinking about it. I want to follow through with what I think's right to bring you guys. So, but we may have him on the channel tomorrow for like a questioning panel and stuff like that. How he feels about what other people are saying, how he feels, and stuff like that, guys. So yes, he knows all this stuff. I messaged him on Instagram and told him what it was. So yes, very much so. Outlaw Nation, TKO, what is up? So yeah, I will Square. Don't know who it is, but okay. Got to be safe. Yes, Square. 100%. Square. So yeah, I'll message you a little bit more, and you already know what a question panel is anyway. So yes, I will talk to you behind private doors of that stuff, Square.
It's not a firing squad.
Yeah. Freckles, what is up? Freckles says cool. She's cool, guys. This is cool. Yes.
I used to be a life coach, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah, that was my job for 10 years.
Dang.
Yep.
You was a life coach for 10 years. Well, I actually ran businesses for about 12 years. So yeah, I know a lot about business, guys. A lot about business. One of the first YouTubers, not only, but first to treat me like actual human. Thank you, Square. I appreciate that, Square. We're not here to attack you, and you know that, plain and simple. But we are here to address some problems that we have. So yes, 100%. Really, what kind? What kind? Freckles, who was that to? Scuba, or was that to something that I referred to? Anyways, guys, let's go back to the video.
Know what I'm saying? Them hands fast, boy. The man's fast, boy. We don't play games around here.
Get your ass
Boys
up.
will get slid. Boys will get slid. You will get slid
Up under a motherfucking car.
Quick, dog. Slid. Till he's out of breath. I'm gonna have
Freckles. What was the question again? So, really? Actually, I mean, really? Really, what kind? People are trying. Okay, so, Mint, what kind of business? I was in rental business. I took care of books, bookkeeping. I took care of bank receipts. I took care of bundles of money. I've done bookkeeping. I've done computer. I worked on plasma TVs. I've ran restaurants for 8 years. Managers of big restaurants in Evergreen, Colorado. Worked besides chefs. I was manager of them. Yeah, I have quite a bit of business, guys. I have a background in ordering. I have a background of all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah. Mr. Fusion TV, what is up, Mr. Fusion TV? Shout out to Bear. Shout out Barbies. Thanks for having me up last night. Appreciate you. What is up, Mr. Fusion TV? How are you? Okay, hold on. Let's go back over. People are trying to create controversy, hate issues, false allegations, and report and policy calls. Yes. 100. Okay. Then even got little Payday and Captain Kurt in the mix up on hating me. Well, Captain Kurt said today he wasn't here hating you. He said that in his live or whatever.
Okay.
So
this needs
shout
to be
out.
handled in private.
What now?
This needs to be handled in private.
Yeah. So, Jamie, I want to talk to you. So after this, if you had time, I'd like to message you and talk to you about some stuff. Anyways, Jamie, for real. Yes, very much so, very much so, Jamie. All right. So, what is up, Jackie? How are you, Jackie? Okay, gonna drop out a chat brief because live in 2 minutes. Okay, cool. Mr. Fusion TV or Mr. Fusion, hello. Y'all have a good night. Jackie, you have a good night too. Things are heating up. Yes, guys. We're gonna make sure if this is the right thing to do. I'm actually gonna consult some people. Anyways, guys, let's jump back to the video.
have some McDonald's there for him waiting. Ba-ba-da-da-da. I'm loving it. Yeah. Wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute, hold up. What? Wait a minute, hold up. So look, nobody still has got to the bottom of this. So the reason why Ryan Upchurch is getting sued is because he stole old girl's lyrics. Is that true? The Nicole girl, did he steal her lyrics?
And why is it the second time? We heard this the second time he got sued.
For stealing her lyrics. Did he steal her lyrics from her? I need to know in the comments, people. Let me know.
No.
Who knows what about the Upchurch suing situation? Who's in here?
Everybody at the time
really knows about the Upchurch. Don't make no shit up and put in the comments and put some fake shit up in here.
Everybody knew.
Cousin Eddie. I don't know. It's been a lot of comments in here, Mr. Cousin Eddie. So you might need to clarify that. I already told you. What did you tell me? It's been a lot of comments in here. It's been a lot of comments.
What's up, Elvis?
So she's saying that this man stole her lyrics.
I said I just clicked in for a second to check out what was going on. See, I was waiting for this. I already told dude, and I'm moving on. Already told him I was streaming. You dumb. can't even stand to see dude anymore, for real. I was not fucking stream sniping bare bones. What was the first thing I told him? Not stream sniping. Just checking out. What was the first thing I told him? Oh yeah, that's right. Oh. Well, I hope you see this, Fusion. Piece of shit. Matter of fact, you want to send people saying that you threatened to take down my channel? That's alright. Here. Let me see some shit you put up of me that's wrong, and let's take it. Let's report it. Oh wow! Don't even play the transphobic. A heterosexual guy, and I want to date a woman. Multiple. Exactly. Report this as misinformation for certainty. Yeah, I'm not just gonna report it once because hell, my one reports, you know, y'all have groups and stuff, y'all. So. You know, I do all this just to be sure. Cover my bases. I'll report that one because I don't want to get flagged for like over reporting or whatever. Because I don't even know if that's a thing, but it could be. I always love these.
Thank you very much for being with us today. It is an honor and a pleasure to be with Chief Chris Velasquez from the Lake Wales Police Department, Chief Lloyd Stewart from the Haines City Police Department, and our resident agent in charge for the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Brandon Shealy. When you work together, good things happen. And that's what happened in this particular investigation. These guys were known as the Bell Gang.
The Bell Gang, huh? Just coming out with all types of creative names nowadays.
Today we talk about the Bell Gang has the Bell Gang Blues because they're locked up in the county jail. But let me tell you how this began. It goes back as...
Dude, you don't want to talk about, I can't make original content, that's why I react. Well, shit, they can't make original content except shit on my stuff.
As far as March of 2020, when FDLE and Lake Wells Police Department were investigating a group of people that were dealing in cocaine, methamphetamine, and cannabis. You know, all three of those low-level nonviolent drugs, people want you to think.
Only one of them do people want people to start, at least I and other people want people to start thinking they're low-level nonviolent drugs. That's cannabis. I don't know about the others.
Are low-level nonviolent drugs. In November of 2020, the Sheriff's Office was investigating a gentleman by the name of James McClain. And as we did our deconfliction on the investigation, our undercover detectives determined that we were all working the same group of people. So we began a joint investigation. Now let's fast forward. As this investigation occurred, our detectives thought the best way to deal with this is with what we call a Title III in federal courts or 934 in state courts. It's a wiretap. It's where we listen to their phones. We go online with them with a court order. So our detectives working together in February of 2021 went up on the first telephone, and they went up on the phone of James McClain. James is 34 years of age. He goes by the street name of Mook. He was dealing in meth, cannabis, and he was a major distributor for the Lake Wells area.
Wow.
And interestingly enough, during the investigation, James told our undercover folks, when they asked him, why is this methamphetamine blue? He said, oh, we dyed it blue in recognition of the Democrat Party, of the Democrats. Now, I'm not sure the Democrat Party would be proud of that, but that's why it was blue, according to him. From that telephone, they listened into Vincent Thomas. That was the
about to say in honor of Breaking Bad.
Second phone they went up on.
That would look more classy, just saying.
He's also, as you see on our chart here, he's 35. He's a major distributor in and around the Lake Wells area. And he's also a rapper. He's known as Cheese. And you'll hear more about him in just a second. And then the third one whose phone we went up on was Patrick Fields. Patrick Fields is known as Big Pat. He's also a rapper. In fact, on the street, he's known as Big Pat Bank Account. That's right. If you look to see their cars, you see that they're bragging about jewelry and guns. They're really proud. And then I always like to talk about Earl Thomas. Now, Earl Thomas is the father to Vincent. Like father, like son. What do you think about the county jail? Well, son, you got me in trouble again. That's right. Like father, like son, only Vincent is the distributor, and Earl was selling drugs on the street level at his car wash. See you later, son. Give me a kiss. Now, what did this result in? Well, we charged 32 people criminally. 29 of them have been arrested. 3 are still at large, and you can see we've designated the ones that are at large. So, hey, you can go ahead and turn yourself in, or you're just going to go to jail tired from running, but you're going to jail. We served 8 search warrants,
Sure that they'll take
7 of them in Lake Wales, and 1 of them in the Frostproof area. On one of the search warrants, we had to use a SWAT team, because when we went there, the guy threatened to commit suicide and he held himself hostage. But after a while, we were able to get him out of the house without there being any
My
injuries.
God.
It was touch and go for a few minutes, but once again, we had our best trained deputies and law enforcement officers there, and we were able to work through that. We seized 11 firearms. 2 of them were reported stolen to us. So let me let you see this.
That is like a Draco almost.
And let me let you see the marijuana. And Chris, can you hold that for me, Chief? And then you tie that to the money. And then there's people out here every day in the media saying, oh, this marijuana is low-level, non-violent. People are dying because of that. And it's not low-level, non-violent, and neither is the other drugs. You think about that the next time somebody tells you cocaine, methamphetamine, marijuana, it's just low-level, nonviolent. They're lying to you. So let's look at their previous charges. 8 of them are previously convicted felons. They had a total of 314 previous felonies, 331 misdemeanors, for a total of 645 previous crimes. Well, that didn't seem to
That's way past the 3 strikes law.
teach them that they need to go by society's rules. So here's what our Lake Wales FDLE agents, Lake Wales police officers, and our detectives from the sheriff's office did. We added another 301 felonies, 134 misdemeanors, and 435 total charges. We seized $88,000 in cash, $89,000 in jewelry, and street value, we seized $283,000 in narcotics, $460,000 worth. And they were marketing themselves, as you might well expect that they would. In fact, they were marketing themselves because they look cool in the community. And we have, or we'll show you, some video of the vehicles they had. That's right. They thought they were cool. Well, how cool are you today? Can y'all make up a rap song about this? Well, I'll help you out.
Oh, shit.
You see, we got you gold. We put your tail in the county jail. You think about that, brothers. And you know what? This, you could call it the Blue Gang, the Bell Gang Blue rap song. How's that? You may think it's cool, but it'll end up with you arrested every time. It's not bad if you got it legal. Now, I wanted to give my colleagues a chance to talk. I explained they didn't have to do the rap song, but we are all excited because it took a lot of work by a lot of great detectives to make this happen, all in Lake Wales. So we'll start with my friend and just a great police chief, Chief Velasquez.
Thank you, Sheriff.
You can dance if you like, though, by the way.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you also not having me do the rap song. It'd be hard to top that. This is a great example of people working together, of law enforcement agencies working together. The criminals don't follow any kind of a jurisdiction. They don't stay within boundaries. They go wherever they want. And by us partnering and working together as a team, we did the same thing. So wherever they like to go, I can guarantee you that we'll follow them. The community asked for us to help and to step up. And
This is great police work and stuff, but I mean, just only wish we had more concentrated focus in other areas of police work, depending upon local departments specifically.
and to deal with these drug dealers, and we responded. This is just a great example. 32 people with warrants, and a good number of them, most of them already arrested. I can tell you right now, and our message is very clear, that we know who the others are, and we're hearing a lot from our friends here on the wall, and you're next. So, thank you.
And we'll ask our Iraq, Brandon Shealy from FDLE, if he'll speak.
I just want to echo what the chief and the sheriff said, and I want to extend our appreciation to the men and women of each respective department. They put in 16 months of very hard work, and this is what happens. This is a success. It's the safety we provide our community, and this represents exactly the type of cases and the hard work, collaboration, and partnership we need to
Give you the afternoon briefing about a horrible event that you all followed with us from January the 3rd. And let me go back and refresh your memory. On January the 3rd at between 1:30 and 1:45 in the afternoon, a horrific event occurred at 7462 Berkeley Road in Polk City, where we found one person who we later determined to be William or Bill Reese, who was deceased from a horrific murder, and a friend that lived with him by the name of Kenneth Mayer. Good. It's good to see you all today as we talk about a undercover operation or a covert operation or a follow-up operation that our detectives have done for a period of time with the Department of Corrections, Probation, and Parole. I'm joined today by Stephanie Perry. Stephanie is the circuit administrator, and certainly she's going to have some comments after I do. One thing that's required by sex predators and sex offenders is that they go through a registry process. And depending on who they are and what their charges are, that determines on what and how they register and how often they register. So we're not going to get down in the bushes on that. But part of the operation was dealing with sex offenders and sex predators that were on a registry process or a probation and registry because they were violating the law or had violated the law in the past, with the allegations being against children. The other part of the operation is our child pornography investigations, where we were looking on peer-to-peer to see if people were out actively trying to either possess and or transmit or deal in child pornography. And here's what we found. We made 42 total arrests. Of the 42 arrests we made, 42 arrests. 7 were child related.
That's just despicable.
And there's one outstanding warrant, and I'll go over that person in just a minute. The operation took about 3.5 weeks, and obviously we were able to be as successful as we were because we were joined by Department of Corrections probation officers who did an outstanding job with our detectives who just do a fantastic job every day. But these are the folks who prey on children, and we prey on them to keep them from children as best we can.
I understand.
We have 2 of our sex predators who are on probation, and they received a violation of probation.
On probation and received a violation of probation. For what, I wonder?
They had previously been to prison and were on a probation after prison. And the other 2 were simply
Wow.
failure to appropriately register. Sexual predators are required
That's notoriously something they do try to do, is avoid registering.
to register a minimum of 4 times a year. The other are sex offenders, and it had to deal with child victims. And the sex offenders have to register twice a year. And there are proactive registry checks that are required of them, such as they have to register their vehicle, they have to register where they live. If they are permitted to be on a computer, and some of them are, then they have to register their computer IP addresses and the systems that they're on, or the social media systems. Failure to appropriately register is a new third-degree felony that can get them a minimum of 5 years in prison, and we like that a lot. Now, our child porn arrest. There were 18 of these folks, and the one outstanding, we weren't able to identify any child.
It's crazy, this many people, and it's just growing and growing and growing.
Victims during this operation. That is our main focus, is to try to identify child victims. All of the child porn we dealt with in this particular operation appear to be commercial child pornography, and the children were between infant or newborns and 14 years of age. Most of them, however, were between 5 and 8 years old.
Oh.
6 of the 19 offenders had more than 100 images or videos. And for just a few minutes, we will do our profile of what we call our poster children. Our number 1 poster child is Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon has a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. Now, you can't make this stuff up. In social work, and you know what his specialty is? You guessed it, counseling children, where he worked for Peace River Center. He was charged with 38 counts of promotion or trading of child pornography. He's married, and he has a 2-year-old child himself with no previous criminal history. Here is a man that's in the business to counsel children in severe distress, and he's a child pornographer.
Dealer, basically, might as well say.
Michael Wolf.
Amateur dealer.
Michael Wolf is self-employed.
Piece of shit.
He is a martial arts instructor, and guess what? Among his clients are what? Children. The youngest child that he currently has in his martial arts.
No, I don't want to focus on it, but I was done wrong as a child, some, and I don't like talking about it, really. It gets me upset, and I've overcame that, but these people just make me fucking sick.
Arts class is 5 years old. He works out of the Southside Barbell Gym in Lakeland. He was charged with 1 count of promotion of child porn. It's interesting to know that he appeared to upload child porn in a teen chat room. And he also
Should be just
also, up to this time, had no criminal history. It was our honor to give him some criminal
seriously.
history because, after all, he's dealing with child porn while he's working with children. And of course, unique and we find it interesting. This is Michelle Roberts and Richard Bishop. They claim to be married, at least common law married. There are 3 children in their home less than 5 years of age. They're both charged with 20 counts of child pornography.
Just sickening.
They are sharing child pornography. This, as far back as we can remember, is the very first couple that both got arrested. Apparently, they utilized child porn in maybe some of their own sexual environments. We don't see any evidence that their children are victims of child porn. And we can't remember another woman that's been arrested in a peer-to-peer child porn operation. Maybe you can. So they get the dubious distinction of being the first husband and wife arrested for peer-to-peer child porn, and she gets the first position of being a woman arrested in a peer-to-peer operation that we recall. These are nasty, nasty people. All of them, and this is a family affair of nasty, nasty people. And how about Mark Ewald? He has a Bachelor of Science from USF in computer science. He works for Presidium, and Presidium is a contract company, so if you need a network set up or need network work done, you hire Presidium, and they'll send Mark out to you. Well, except that he's detained right now in jail. He has his own server at his home, so he can access any data that he has from any place in the world. He's a member of our 100+ club. He has over 100 counts of child pornography. This is a deviant of the first order.
Wow.
And of course, Michael Dietz goes to Polk State College, where he's studying computer science. He said he's been viewing child porn for 14 years, and he's been viewing this child porn with children as young as 3 months old. He too is a member of our 100+ club child porn. Here's the guy that's hiding from us. Now, Matthew Sutton's got a good mama, because she would not only not cooperate with us, she actually went to jail in the process by frustrating us while we were trying to actively do a search warrant. But she's not telling us where Matthew Sutton is or where he works. She just interfered while we were trying to do the search warrant at his house. But we want Matthew in jail because we've got him charged with 84 counts of child porn. Now listen to me. Here's the deal. Call Crime Stoppers, 1-800-226-TIPS. We don't have to know who you are. You get Mr. Matthew Sutton locked up with your information, for which he'll never know where it come from, and we'll give you green cash. Think about that. A child pornographer goes to jail, and you get green cash, and after all, he belongs in jail and he's hiding from us currently.
Let his own mother or wife, whether loved one, take the fall. Like, that's horrible.
You got a good mama. She's trying to give you cover. Doesn't do any good. You go into...
No, you got, I hate to say it, sweet as she might be trying to be, but she's wrong, and you got an enabling mama.
Jail anyway. Mama should have talked to you about not possessing child porn, however.
Yep.
Then there's Charles DeMay. Charles DeMay is the only one of the predators or offenders we highlighted because he is our
You know,
And
I loved how Fusion decided to go over to Bare Bones, was thanking me for letting him come up. Like, that was supposed to, I guess, get me mad or something. Like, I know Bare Bones didn't catch on to it, but he kept, like, what he was trying to do was make me feel like is that he had nothing but friends and chums there. And I didn't let it detract me because, like the one thing I said earlier in the original whole live that I meant, was that Bare Bones has actually treated me like a human being. Something Fusion and nobody else know nothing about, to be honest with you.
antique of the group. He's 82 years old, and he's a sexual offender, and he's a retired high school teacher out of Williamsburg, South Carolina. He was charged when he was 79 years old, and he just does not want to follow the rules. But here's an 82-year-old man, and this dude won't even go by the rules now. Well, Charles, I hate for you to spend the rest of your life in prison, but you earned it, and you're going to prison. Okay. Before we take questions, please allow me to turn the podium over to Stephanie Perry, who has some comments and some information she wants to share with you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. I would just like to share that an integral piece of the Department of Corrections mission is to ensure public safety. And the correctional probation officers here in Circuit 10 are committed to serving and protecting the citizens of Polk, Hardee, and Highlands County. Our probation officers are charged with ensuring that our offenders are in compliance with the conditions of their supervision, and also to hold those offenders who are found in noncompliance accountable. As a result of our probation officers partnering with the Sheriff's Office on Operation Child Guardian, 12 of the offenders under the supervision of the Florida Department of Corrections have been incarcerated, and now the public is more safe. We would also like to thank Sheriff Judd and his team for their continued support and partnership. Thank you very much.
Okay, any questions? I knew you'd have some questions. You always do.
We know each other too well,
Yes,
don't we?
yes.
Was there some type of incident or tip or something that, I mean, I know you've done lots of these investigations in the past, but this particular investigation, was there something that led to it?
Yes.
Okay.
My absolute total disdain for people who abuse children. And that is the top priority among many high priorities at the Sheriff's Office. And our detectives just do an awesome job. Makes me sneeze every time I think about it. I'm allergic to them.
It seems like a lot of these guys claim to be addicted to it. Can you talk to that point?
They are, you know, I hate to use the word addiction because that would give an indication of maybe some kind of a sickness, which may give them some kind of a defense. What these folks are is deviants. In their screwed up minds, this is normal conduct.
Yep.
It's acceptable conduct. Now, most of them will tell you academically that they know it's wrong, it's against society's norms.
Yep.
But it's good for them. Well, we also think prison is good for them. And that's what we're going to do, is do our very best to send every one of them to prison or back to prison. Many of them are out, and they have the rules. All they have to do is follow the rules. I have an entire team of 4 people and an analyst that make sure these folks do what they're supposed to do, in addition to the work that DOC does through when they're on probation. So there's no excuse for that conduct except they're not rule followers and they're deviants, and I don't like them, and they need to be in prison.
Can you talk to us a little bit more in detail about what Eric Gordon does at Peace River Center for Children children in crisis?
I don't know, other than he works for Peace River Center. His specialty is child counseling, and we told Peace River that y'all would probably end up wanting to talk to them before the day was over. And by the way, I need to give this editorial comment about Peace River Center. They are awesome. I help them raise funds. I'm very involved with Peace River Center. They do miraculous work in the community. But hey, even great organizations can have a bad apple. And they got one that's rotten all the way to the core.
Can you talk a little bit about the, I guess they didn't register their social media accounts appropriately? How many of them was that, and what did they not do?
You know, I'm not prepared to get down in the weeds, okay? Because every one of them can have a different restriction. But here's what it says: the offenders have to at least register twice a year. The predators have to register 4 times a year. But then, depending on what your status is, you have to register your cars, you have to register where you live. Some are not permitted to have any access to social media or the internet at all. Some are able to have access to the internet or social media if they register those accounts. So it just depends on which person you're talking about and what their specific.
Are they going to be honest? That's the thing. Are they going to be honest? Let's take a break just real quick. Be right back. Have a short intermission. I want to say hello to everyone out there in the chat. Sorry I haven't looked at it yet. Doing a late night chill, as you can tell. We are back live. Good night, Storm, if you're gone. Hello, Marion. Bowling stoned? I have no idea, brother. I have no idea. These are good musics. It's chill musics. My leg is in one of those moods like where it's like itchy get Briggs it complete salvation. Can't sleep like daddy, can't sleep. I love you. I love you with all my heart, buddy. There's nothing I wouldn't do for you. If you needed something from my body, I'd give it up if I could use it in you. That's how much I love my dog, you guys. You don't understand. I don't see him as just a pet or a subservient creature. We truly see each other as equals, don't we, Brownie? Brownie. Brownie. We see each other as equals, don't we? Shake. 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 He's an equal. He has to decide whether he wants to shake. Shake. He's your good boy. He's your good boy. Probably go to bed here soon.
What's up, fam? Now, I know everybody be watching my lives and streaming my lives and stuff like that. And one day somebody likes you and the next day somebody...
Yeah, that's just how it is on here. And you got those certain people that are constantly streaming you no matter what. Then they're the first to tell somebody else, oh, he's streaming someone else. Not for the purpose like we do, but for a different purpose. So quick, tell them. Make them think it's something else.
You're gonna laugh, but I have to ask you about this. Believe it or not, I found this on my car. I mean, it looks just like the GPS tracker that we used on Gus Fring, doesn't it? Back when we were tracking him, just the two of us. You wouldn't know anything about this, would you, Hank? You're gonna laugh, but I have to ask you about.
Yeah, I'll never.
You're gonna laugh, but I have to ask you about this. Believe it or not, I found this on
You know, I'll never get the mentality of a woman or man who is so desperate to keep somebody in their life they treat it like a little baby bird. You know, they'll break their wings so they can't fly away. I don't know. I just think of things like that when I'm, you know, by myself working and doing stuff.
Make sure to check out Simple History for more Simple History.
This episode is sponsored by Magellan TV. Check out their documentary streaming service to learn even more about history. They have the largest collection out there. Their platform has many high-profile videos and documentaries. We highly recommend that you check out Last Secrets of the Third Reich, Hitler's Henchmen. In this series, learn about the history behind Hitler's power, the money, the generals, and his henchmen. In this episode about his henchmen, learn about Hitler's security chief and right-hand man, Heinrich Himmler, with questions answered like why did Himmler secretly order an extensive research project about witches? Magellan TV is a unique streaming platform focused entirely on bringing historical content not found anywhere else on the web. With over 3,000 documentaries, movies, and series, some available in 4K high def, there's something new for every history lover, from early wars to space exploration. They add new content weekly, so you'll never run out of stuff to watch. Magellan TV is offering a special promotion to our viewers. Click the link in the description to try Magellan TV free for a month. And for all of you who have already signed up, check out The Last Secrets of the Third Reich. You won't be disappointed. Operation Valkyrie. The plot to kill Hitler. July 20th, 1944. World War II. Nazi Germany, the courtyard of the High Command building in Berlin. It was early in the morning of July 21st, 1944, and in a courtyard lit by the headlights of an army truck, a 36-year-old colonel was placed before a firing squad to be executed for high treason. Just before he was shot, he cried out defiantly, "Long live our sacred Germany." So who was this man? His name was Klaus von Stauffenberg, and apart from being an officer in the German army, he was
Tom Hitler. Excuse me. Good Lord Almighty. Trying to think. Oh, who played him? Oh my God. Tom Cruise played him. It's pretty good. One of the few Cruise movies or films I can actually watch.
was also a war hero, having been awarded the Iron Cross First Class. He was also of noble blood, holding the grand title of Count of Stauffenberg, his family being one of the oldest and most distinguished aristocratic Catholic families in southern Germany. At the beginning of the war, Stauffenberg took part in the Polish, French, Russian.
He was over in Africa when he lost his eye, and he'd realized that he wasn't fighting for the Germany he knew or loved. He was fighting for the directorates of a madman. You know, like, he knew Hitler had lost himself long before even, I think, Hitler knew it.
Russian and North African campaigns. He was also the man who nearly assassinated Adolf Hitler. Hitler had survived several assassination attempts prior to this, but this was to be the very last. Stauffenberg's views on Hitler were conflicting. On one hand, he thought he was a good military leader and was impressed by the Führer's grasp of military strategy. And he also thought he could save Germany from the corrupting dangers of communism. But he had serious misgivings about his social policies, which went against his strong Catholic, Christian, and political beliefs. Stauffenberg thought that World War II was an unnecessary war, feeling the conflict could and should have been avoided. This view was quickly reinforced as the war unfolded. He was first approached about joining the German resistance as early as 1940, but he declined out of loyalty to the oath he took to obey the office of the Führer that Adolf Hitler held. So at this stage, he felt honor-bound to not get involved with the resistance. But he became further disillusioned with what he saw when he took part in the invasion of Russia in 1941, and was particularly disgusted by the SS's violent treatment of the Jewish population. By 1942, he was meeting regularly with opponents of Hitler and coming around to the idea that Hitler's removal was the only way to save Germany. Stauffenberg was sent to Tunisia to join the Afrika Korps to take part in the North African campaign. In April 1943, his unit was strafed by an RAF fighter-bomber, and he was severely injured, costing him an eye, his right hand, 2 fingers on his left hand, and damage to his legs. He spent 3 months in a hospital in Germany recovering from his wounds. Once recovered, he could...
Yeah, and boy, did that really even changed him more once he saw himself and all the men that survived and what was left of them after being attacked.
no longer carry out combat duties, so Stauffenberg was assigned to the office of General Friedrich Olbricht in Berlin. Olbricht was the chief of the General Army Office. Among the many things that his office had worked on, Olbricht was to develop the contingency plan, Operation Valkyrie. This was to be used in case of internal uprising or unrest, which was becoming a possibility as Germany was losing the war. Ingeniously, the German resistance realized they could use this plan to mobilize the reserve army to suppress the Nazi government as the conspirators who were seizing control for themselves. For the plan to work, Hitler had to be dead, and this would allow for Operation Valkyrie to be activated and have his inner circle falsely arrested, framing them to look as if they were the heads of a fictitious coup attempt. Then the true conspirators would form a government more acceptable to the Allies, which they then hoped could negotiate a reasonable peace with them. Stauffenberg was crucial for this plan to work, as his duties in his new position included him attending regular meetings with Hitler and his high command. So a plan was formulated with Stauffenberg and his growing band of fellow conspirators, that he would have a bomb with a 10-minute timer hidden in his briefcase among his papers. They planned not only to kill Hitler, but his two closest and powerful trusted commanders at the same time, Reichsmarschall Hermann Göring and Reichsführer Heinrich Himmler. But this proved impractical, so on July 20th, 1944, they put their plan into action. Stauffenberg attended a conference at Hitler's command headquarters called the Wolf's Lair Complex in East Prussia. The original plan for the conference was that it was to be held in a secure underground concrete bunker, but at the last minute, perhaps because of
which would have amplified the blast and probably would have made the second charge, which he did have a second charge, unneeded. But at the last minute, they changed it to a more open, spacious gathering above ground because it was hot, which then made it really necessary for him to have two bombs. And guess what? He only had one bomb.
The extreme heat of that summer day, it was decided to hold the day's meetings in a more spacious, above-ground and well-ventilated conference room. Around 20 people attended, including Hitler. Stauffenberg had already set the fuse when he entered the conference room. He then placed the briefcase under the giant oak conference table that everyone was crowded around, as Hitler was pointing to various maps. Then a prearranged phone call gave Stauffenberg the excuse that he needed to leave the room straight away. Shortly afterwards, at 12:42, the bomb exploded, completely wrecking the conference room, blowing out its walls, causing the roof to collapse, and starting several small fires. The meeting stenographer was killed instantly. 3 officers died a few days later from their injuries. Many others were also injured. Unknown to Stauffenberg and his co-conspirators, Hitler had survived the blast, though his right arm had been badly injured. It was also said his trousers had been blown off by the force of the explosion, but in reality they were torn to shreds. Stauffenberg, believing Hitler was dead, had immediately driven away from the Wolf's Lair and took a plane back to Berlin, ordering Operation Valkyrie into effect. Units of the German Reserve Army were mobilized and took control of radio stations, telephone centers, and key government buildings. At this time, there were conflicting reports on
Well, the whole time being told, you're traitors, this is treasonous, you know.
Hitler's status after the explosion. Then the Reserve Army, also believing Hitler was dead, made arrests of the leading members of the framed Nazi government, thinking they were putting down a coup when in fact they were unwittingly aiding one. Major Otto Ernst Riemer was ordered to arrest Minister of Propaganda Joseph Goebbels. However, the truth came out when Goebbels handed Riemer the telephone and he heard Hitler's voice on the other end. Realizing he had been taking orders from mutineers, Riemer was now ordered to crush the plot by Hitler. The conspirators' plan was brilliantly simple, but quickly fell apart when it became apparent Hitler was still alive and the truth was out. All of those involved were quickly rounded up, including Stauffenberg, who was arrested after a short shootout where he was wounded in the shoulder. Colonel General Friedrich Fromm, who had been a quiet supporter of the coup, betrayed them once it had failed. Stauffenberg and 3 other of the officers involved, Quernheim, Ulbricht, and Werner von Haften, were hastily tried in a court-martial and taken to the courtyard of the Bendler block where they were shot. This was against the orders by Hitler to arrest the conspirators alive, most likely to hide Fromm's involvement in the coup. Few of the conspirators
Was later executed anyways, though.
evaded capture, and many chose suicide rather than face torture and humiliation at the hands of the Gestapo, the much-feared secret police. So after rushed mock trials that were ironically called the People's Court and sham court-martials, it's estimated nearly 5,000 Germans were executed for their direct or indirect involvement in the plot.
And they were just trying to save their country.
They were executed by various means: hanging, guillotining, firing squad, and even strangulation. Stauffenberg's own brother was one of those slowly strangled to death in a Berlin prison in August. Since the war, streets, schools, and buildings have been named after Stauffenberg in recognition of the sacrifice he had made to rid Germany of the tyrant that was Hitler and the Nazis.
Long live Colonel Stauffenberg. Long live sacred Germany. It's a good, you know. Yeah, that was a good one. You may hand us over to the executioner, but in 3 months' time, the disgusted and harried people will bring you to book and drag you alive through the dirt in the streets. Take him away. Matter of fact, let's listen to the, mock judgments, this should be called.
Any last messages to your wives and children? I will hear them now. Very well. And the colonel, whose name I will not mention, are condemned to death.
General, my orders are to take these men alive.
Noted, Major.
That's wrong.
I'd like a pistol, please.
Get on with it.
With all respect,
That will be all, Major.
Killing us won't hide your involvement.
My involvement? I don't know what you're talking about.
You knew and did nothing. You're as guilty as any of us.
Spare me, Lieutenant.
No one will be spared.
He knew better.
I'm thinking of earlier times.
This is an outrage that has never before been perpetrated here. A field marshal and a general declare that they could do things better than he, who is the Führer of us all. You profess to having said this.
Yes.
My fellow Germans, I speak to you tonight for two reasons. First, so that you can hear my voice and know that I am unhurt. Second, so that you may know the details of a crime without parallel in German history. A small clique of ambitious, dishonorable officers have conspired to eliminate me. Except for a few bruises and burns, I was completely untouched. I see in this the hand of Providence, directing me to complete my work.
That was General Ulbricht. He took a lot of the heat.
Look them in the eye. I remember you.
Albrecht!
Meg, ready.
But we have to share the world that not all of us will like in.
Say, stand.
I love silence.
Fire! Stand. Stauffenberg.
People know we put our principles above personal gain.
Meg, ready. Hey! Safe! Stand!
You may hand us over to the executioner, but in 3 months' time, the disgusted and harried people will bring you to book and drag you alive through the dirt in the streets.
Take him away.
Meg! Ready! Aim! Long live sacred Germany!
I mean, he stood up for what he thought he was doing the right thing for his country in the end. Honorable person, honorable man. Even if he was on the wrong side of things for a bit. Well, this is the end of tonight's late night chill, I believe. You can't hear me. What do you mean, no sound? I'm sorry, you guys should have sound. Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello? Well, anyways, good night, guys. If you can't hear me, anyways.